Call the meeting to order. Start with roll call.
Commissioner Allen?
Present.
Commissioner Norwood?
Here.
Commissioner Siragusa? Here. Commissioner Roberts?
Here.
Commissioner Stallings?
Here.
Commissioner Orr?
Here.
And Mayor Pinkman.
Here. Thank you. Item 2, invocation flag salute. Mr. McAdoo, are you here? Might not make it. Commissioner Norwood, would you honor us with the blessing and flag salute? Mr. Stallings?
You know what, Mayor, I'd like to have my father do that for us.
If he's here, I'd be...
Right here in the audience.
Please, sir, would you honor us?
No pressure.
Heavenly Father, in the name of Jesus, we thank you for this day, for this is the day that you've made. You told us to rejoice and be glad in it. And God, we're glad that we was able to come together, and we coming together as one. Help us to resolve the problems that we might have in the city so that the city council and the mayor could do the job that they've been elected to do. In Jesus' name we pray. Thank God. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, Pastor Norwood and Commissioner Stallings. Appreciate that. Item 3, minutes. Item 3.1, consider approval of the minutes of the special commission meeting and regular commission meeting of February 7th, 2023.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion or corrections? Seeing none, please cast your ballots. Huh? Okay. My thing's not working, so I'll just indicate by voice that I voted in the affirmative, so motion passes 7-0. Thank you. Item 4, awards, presentations, proclamations, organizational business. I'm going to change this one around a little bit because we have some voting to do toward the end of this item. So to give the people time to be able to count the votes for the appointments that we have in mind, I'd like to start with those, and then we'll do the pet for adoption and employee of the month after that. So we're going to start with item 4.3, consider appointments to the Advanced Development Authority. There are 2 at-large positions with 9 applicants. Some of those are requesting reappointment, but what we'll do is, as we always do, is allow each one of these people to speak and address us if they so desire. So I'll just go down the list. If you're here and wish to speak, please come to the microphone as called. Dr. Floyd, and I don't think he's in town. John Smithson. Christina Robinson. Kenneth Gertie, I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
Would you like to speak?
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Council, for the opportunity to come before you this evening. My interest in the Advanced Development Board is because I see the opportunities that can be had between Vance and Enid to continue growing the airspace and the community to, keep Vance alive and keep Enid growing also. So I just feel like I could, with my experience being at Vance and also in the surrounding communities, I feel like I'd have good ideas to bring to the community, or to the committee.
Okay, good, thank you. Richard Shepard. Hey.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Just want to thank you for giving me time to speak here. I applied for this because there's tons of folks that work at Vance, have worked at Vance, retired from Vance, but very few would have the perspective that I've had. I've been at the medical clinic out there for 26 years. So when anything comes across through the VDA, it's interesting to see what changes are made, could be made, and at some point, that impact that goes to the healthcare. My current position, I have to work both with the military treatment facility, all of the security forces and first responders, plus the wing commander, based on those healthcare initiatives from the Defense Health Agency. A lot of things are changing on the medical side, so it's always good to have that perspective as to, we're going to make this decision, how is that going to affect the civilian community as well? So just a different perspective. Appreciate your time.
Good, thank you. Jesse Ashlock? Yep.
So I want to say thank you, first of all, just for giving me the chance to talk. I've actually been on the board, I think, 4 years now. I'm an Air Force vet. I was an A-10 mechanic back in my day. I work at Autry Tech. It's part of my job to be the actual liaison between the base and the school as well. You know, we have started a aircraft maintenance basis class that actually started from a previous state of the base discussion. You know, I am very involved with the base on a daily basis. You know, I have a lot of contacts out there. I just think it's important to actually keep the base here in Enid, obviously. You know, I just want to have your thoughts on it again, and just thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you. Katina Sunball? Jeff Clark? Clarence Wallace? Okay,
He was here.
He was here.
okay,
He left shortly after he got here.
Oh,
Did he?
okay.
all right. Well, all right. I will tell you, the two incumbents have both sought to be reappointed. That was Dr. Floyd and Mr. Ashlock, who just spoke. So just so that you know that information. The others are seeking this appointment for the first time, or at least not a reappointment opportunity. That said, we will, please cast your ballots, write them on your ballot. Vote for two, and we'll go to the next thing. Okay, next up, 4.4, consider appointments to the Enid Park and Recreation Board. Again, we have several, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 14 people that are trying to fill 2 vacancies. So we'll allow each one of those that's present to speak if they wish. Ron Jansen? Didn't see Ron. Donald John?
Donald couldn't be here tonight. He's a former city employee, served before, but he just couldn't be here tonight. He asked me to relay that to you.
Okay. James French? Richard Shepard?
Long time no see.
Yeah.
For the Parks Board, and again, thank you for the time. As far as the Parks and Recreations goes, I belong to Civitan International. We have a club here locally, the Enid Civitan Club. And one of the things we really push for is to help those with disabilities. One of the things we've looked forward to is working with the city and the parks to try to establish a larger venue for parks with disabled capacity. I know we have the Ambux Park down in the center of town, but we'd also like to work with the Parks Board to expand that over to the east side as well. Being a member of Civitan and being on the board would just make a great slot. So I appreciate your time.
All right, good, thank you. Marcia Scott? Yes, ma'am.
Well, I've lived in Enid a long time, about 50 years, and we have enjoyed the parks at every point in our rearing our children, and now as we are seniors. We've played tennis at tennis courts all over. We have played at playgrounds and splash pads all over. I swim at Champlain Pool in the summers because I love the outside pool. I am at a park probably 5 of 7 days a week. I am a walker, and I walk around Crossland, and I walk on the path that is down south, And I appreciate that so much. I think it was a lifesaver for many people during COVID to be able to get outside, to be able to exercise, to be able to meet others and have meals. I love the parks, and I would be honored to have a part in planning more park opportunities. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Karen Nicholas. Jay Sharp. Stephanie Pendergraft. Dorothy Grifka. Jenna Spencer. Michael Blackwood. Cynthia Stevenson. Brittany Connor. And Michelle Richards. Okay. Those were all the folks. You have your ballot in front of you. Please cast your ballot for two of the positions, and put your ballot in. Okay. All right. While they tally those up, we got the results back for the Vance Development Authority at large positions. All right, I'll read how many votes everybody got and who casted the votes. Dr. Floyd received 1 vote from Commissioner Saragusa. Richard Shepard received 1 vote from Mayor Pankinen. Jeff Clark received 3 votes, one each from Commissioners Saragusa, Stallings, and Orr. And Jesse Ashlock received 4 votes, 1 each from Commissioners Allen, Norwood, Roberts, and Mayor Pankinen. So he is one of the people that will be reappointed. Kenneth E. Gertie, received 5 votes. Commissioners Allen, Norwood, Roberts, Stallings, and Orr. So again, Kenneth, congratulations, receiving 5 votes, and Jesse receiving 4 votes. You two will be retained or serve on the VDA. Congratulations. Thank you. I'd like to, we had a big list of people that really wanted to serve on that board, and as we like to say all the time, I can't tell you how much I appreciate the fact that I see citizens coming forward wanting to serve in their communities. So while you may not have been selected this time, don't let that discourage you. Please continue to try. It really does my heart good to see all the people in the town that want to help our town get better. So thank you very much. We'll go to 4.5, consider appointments to the tree board.
Since there's only 2,
Yeah.
I'll move to approve both of those.
Okay. Okay, just so that, for the record, the people know who that is, it's Corey Buller is a reappointment request, and one new person that's requesting appointment is William Noakes. Those are the 2 applications that were received. We have a motion and a second to accept those. All in favor, please cast your ballots. And I'm working. Motion carries 7-0. Thank you. I think we'll wait okay, we can move into the others. 4.1, going to go back to that. Present pet available for adoption at Enid's City Animal Welfare Department. I believe we have a lady today.
We got two ladies I'm going to introduce.
All right. Weird dude.
All right, so first off, I'm going to start with, this is Kaylee Schaefer. She is our new animal control officer. She had replaced me when I stepped down to be the adoption coordinator. And secondly, we have Lady. Lady is a 2 to 4 year old lab mix. She is a very sweet girl. She's very playful. She's good with other dogs. She does like the dogs that are a little bit more on the calmer side. If they're too rambunctious, she kind of, tells them, hey, cool out. But she, as you can see, she likes to jump up and meet everybody. And she especially loves car rides. She is definitely ready to get back in the truck. Come on, get him. She does no sit, but only if you got treats. So this is Lady, and she is in pin 21, and she is ready for her new home.
Okay.
She seems to like the mayor.
Yeah. Maybe you should take her home.
All right.
All right, thank you guys. You guys have a good evening.
The mayor give you a point.
All right, item 4.2 is your employer. Recognize City of Enid Employee of the Month for February. Let Gerald do that.
Mark, you want to come on up? And Ken, you want to come on up?
I got to say, I always say this is one of the most enjoyable things I get to do, and I can tell you not everything is enjoyable being the city manager, but this is very enjoyable, and it's recognizing one of our employees who's done great things. Mark is that person. Congratulations. Mark, I want to say you've been here, I'm going to say a couple years, but I might be off a little bit.
Just under 2 years.
Okay, well, it's getting close. Sometimes time moves slowly around here, or maybe it moves fast, I don't know. I think you came to us from Elk City. You're a good find. And Kent, you are the interim director right now, and so our whole department has turned over, quite frankly, in the last few years. So we're very fortunate to have both of these guys up here, but you are the employee of the month, so I want to give you this.
Thanks, sir.
And give you this coin.
Thank you.
And then give Ken a chance to say great things about you. And then I see somebody in the audience that you might want to recognize.
My wife.
Okay, I'll get out of the way.
So, yeah, Mark and I both came to work about the same time. It was September of 21. And as Gerald stated, we're all three of us in the IT department are fairly new. But what he didn't mention is that we have a lot of experience. So we might be new to the city of Enid, but we have a lot of experience. I've had the pleasure of working with Mark. Mark is mainly his biggest things that he's in charge of is about 70 iPads for the people in the service center and about 70 servers downstairs in our server room. Mark's that guy that whenever something goes wrong with the servers and you can't shut them down during the day, they have to be worked on after hours. This is the guy that does all that, and I can promise you he's worked a lot of hours outside of normal business hours taking care of all those problems. The other thing about Mark is he's really persistent. When we're having, like for example, we had a problem with our archive manager, and they said, oh, well, you need to update it. So Mark updated it. Well, it still didn't work. So he spent probably 2 weeks, day after day after day, working with support from the archive manager people, getting those problems resolved. So that's probably one of the things I like most about Mark is he doesn't give up. He doesn't stop until it's fixed right. So Mark, congratulations.
Thank you, Kent. As Kent said, we've both been here since about September of 21. I came in about 2 weeks before Kent did, and it's been a great experience. I'm really glad to be here. I have nothing but good. I mean, I love it here. This is the best thing ever. I thank you. Words can't describe this at all. The other day, our communications director, Derek Silas, is that how you pronounce his name?
Yep.
He called, needed to get a photo of me, and I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll come down and do it. So I go in there and take a picture, and I ask him, I'm like, so what's with the picture? He goes, well, we just, have to update pictures every now and then, of all employees. I'm like, okay. So, need to get Kent, He's like, yeah. He's like, and Ken will tell you why on Thursday. I'm like, okay, yeah, I didn't think anything about it. So last night, about 4:45, he gets an email and you need to be here. Okay. Well, this morning, of course, I find out. We was joking about it all day long, but again, thank you all very much. I appreciate it. Commissioners, mayor, everybody, just thank you.
And I'll say, we know how to keep a surprise, so good job.
All right, we're going to go back to item 4.4, the Park Recreation Board. Ron Jansen received votes from the mayor and all 6 commissioners, so he received 7 votes. We had 2 people that tied with 2 votes each, so we need to recast that ballot. So if you would, commissioners, submit your ballot, voting either for Marcia Scott or Stephanie Pendergraft, and hand it in.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay. I think that's going to be pretty quick, don't you? Everything is just 2 people to pick from. Huh? We could, but we got quite a few of those. I think we'll wait just for a moment. It shouldn't take long to, since there's only 2 candidates, it should be pretty quick on that vote. All right, thank you. All right, the votes came in. Marcia Scott received 5 votes. Commissioner Norwood, Saragusa, Roberts, Stallings, and Mayor Pankinen. And Stephanie Pendergraft received 2 votes from Commissioners Allen and Commissioner Orr. So the second position will be Marcia Scott. So congratulations, Marcia, if you're listening. Okay, item 5, public comments. Let me start with a couple of things. First, if you came to talk specifically about item 6.6 during the study session, that was pulled from the agenda, so it's not going to be discussed tonight. You can do public comments if you wish, but we're not taking action on that item tonight. Secondly,
Mayor, you might tell them what what
Oh,
6.6 is.
Okay. 6.6 was to approve a contract between the City of Enid and Outreach Services, Enid Street Services Outreach, to fund a home for homeless services. And we found that there's some issues with that property that we'd like to resolve before we bring it to the board. So we want to get those resolved before such time as we vote on that action. So don't want people to think there's anything good or bad about that. It's just we need some more information to make the decision appropriately. So that's what that's about. Secondly, I'd like to ask everybody, we have quite a few people that have signed up to talk about in public comments. So again, it's a 3-minute limit. Scott, I'd ask you to keep track, 2.5 minutes, let them know they got 30 seconds left, and in 3 minutes, we'll complete our time. We've been really good about this, and I think for probably this whole year. So I'd ask for your indulgence there. Let's let everybody speak. Again, please speak to the commission, not to the audience. If you're here to address us, we're on this side. And I think that's it. Let's, shouldn't be any personal attacks or anything like that against anybody. We're not going to stand for that. If you have an issue to bring up, then bring the issue up, but let's not get personal here. Okay, that said, let me start with James Neal.
Good evening. Thank you for the time. I'm Father James Neal. I'm the priest at Holy Cross Orthodox Catholic Church here in Enid. I'm not here to talk theology, but if you want to, I'd be happy to talk your ear off afterwards. I am here because I was asked by some concerned citizens to come and speak about the apparent and overt rise of white nationalism and Nazism in our community to soon be represented on this council. We have a letter that addresses both moral and the practical issues of how this will negatively impact this community. I'd just like to read that to you. Greetings in the spirit of peace and equality. We are reaching out to all parties that may be affected by or have an interest in the negative effects that will necessarily follow the recent election of a known white supremacist organizer and recruiter to the Enid City Commission. The official presence of white nationalism or neo-Nazism in city government will have negative and tangible effects on this community, beyond the obvious moral depravity of white supremacist ideology. Businesses, both those in Enid and those considering moving or expanding here, will and should think twice about associating their brand with a community that has earned a reputation for supporting white nationalism. Enid's longstanding positive and mutually beneficial relationship with Vance Air Force Base and the U.S. Air Force is jeopardized by creating a sanctioned environment that is not fit for America's airmen, is incompatible with the values of the United States Air Force, and betrays the sacrifice of airmen who laid down their lives to defeat Nazism in World War II. Churches in the Enid community and the regional and national bodies to which they answer will have to account for where they stood on this issue, undoubtedly degrading an already shaky public view of religious institutions as a whole. All of us, whether we live in Enid or simply have financial or other interests here, must determine whether we want to be associated with officially sanctioned white nationalism, or if we will denounce, disassociate ourselves from, and oppose actively this hateful ideology.
Good 30 seconds.
We look forward to working with all in the latter category and holding accountable as far as we are able those in the former. We, the undersigned concerned citizens, unequivocally denounce white nationalism and its presence in our community and pledge to steadfastly, peacefully oppose any and all entities which support it, either actively or through their willful silence and apathy. We started that 2 days ago. It currently has about 550 signatures, and we are going from there. If anybody has any questions or would like to discuss with me further, I would gladly make myself available to you. God bless you all.
Thank you. Ben Ezel.
Hi again. You all have, again, failed to put anything on the agenda to deal with the discrimination and bigotry coming from the library board, which, again, is a body appointed by you all. And 4 of you at any point could fix that. Discrimination is wrong. Discrimination against anyone is wrong. We are sitting in the Martin Luther King Jr. Municipal Complex. That big stone thing out front has that really lovely, famous King quote, you know, the "I have a dream," the, you know, "all people are equal" thing. It's kind of important. And when you all 7 of you, fail to put anything on an agenda time after time, month after month, week after week, you are tacitly, you're more than tacitly, you're explicitly allowing that. You're allowing discrimination against my family, against families all over Enid, and it's wrong. It's not complicated. It's just wrong. And you all have had so many chances to do something about it and are choosing not to. And whether it's because of some election or not, kind of it doesn't matter. Right is right, wrong is wrong. Discrimination, very clearly wrong. I don't understand why you all haven't put something on an agenda to fix this. I understand why, George, you don't respond to a text message explaining why, or a call. I don't understand why any of you cannot explain to this whole community, hi, we're not doing something about the library board for some reason, but you're silent. And they're discriminating against a lot of folks in this community, and you all know it. And you all know it's wrong. And this has been going on for almost a year. I don't know why you're not acting. I know when I sat up there, when there was something serious, we put something on the agenda. And it didn't always pass when I put something on an agenda, but we actually got to talk about it. And there were opportunities to say to the community, hey, this is why we are doing this, or this is why we aren't doing this, or we feel like this is important. But you all are just, it's crickets out here. And that's insane. 30 seconds. I don't know why discrimination against people in your community doesn't get y'all more worked up. It's embarrassing. And in a few weeks, when Jerry's seat is replaced by a guy who is an absolute white supremacist, it gets crazier. You guys have to do something. It takes 4 votes. This isn't that hard. You guys have had an option that Carol wrote up like a year ago. Take it. Quit dragging your feet. This is embarrassing.
Teresa Sanders, and Bob Berry will be after her.
Hello, thank you for this opportunity to speak. I am a former diagnostic medical sonographer and a landscape architect. I'm also a mom and a grandma. And I want you to know that I think the Enid Library, in my past experience, is a lovely library. And I listened to the last meeting, and all the people that came up and complained, there was no, it was so vague, the definitions, I couldn't really grasp what it was that they were complaining about. I think we can all agree that nobody wants explicit sexual material or child pornography in the library, and I certainly don't think that is the case. But the Two-Spirit people have been around forever. I don't know if it's the fact that it's the same-sex people that you don't like to have together. It certainly couldn't be the type of sex they're having together, because heterosexual couples have that type of sex. So I think we need to define what the problems is, but overarching that is the problem of censorship. United States is exhibiting all 14 signs of fascism. Censorship is fascistic. We have over 40 states, including Oklahoma, that are passing laws that attack our First Amendment rights, while people decry that we're attacking the Second Amendment. We have Christians, and I'd like that word defined. Is that by word or by act? I know Buddhists and Muslims that are great Christians, and a lot of Christian politicians, I can't tell that they're Christians at all. We have a problem of truth in government and in our churches. And when Christians stand up and say they're victimized and they are the largest, and if you look up, the most violent religion in history, and then we see politicians posing with assault rifles in front of their Christmas trees.
Got 30
we
seconds.
Have to question this. And I think one thing we need to think about is, what is an advanced society? Is it just advanced technology, or is it how we treat our people?
Bob Berry, and after that, Dory Wade.
I think I've been caught a little off guard.
Oh.
But I want to say that it is time for everybody to take a chill pill and go look at all the different options that are available, to which that the greater public and Enid should have the ability to access. I wasn't born and raised in Enid. I grew up where it was really tough in Sapulpa back in the 60s and the 50s. And I can tell you that what we do here is going to cast a long shadow. And it's not my right to tell you that we should not cross that shadow. And we've done great. GRDA, the new plant that's coming in, the plants that are being run, and most importantly, Vance. I was lucky enough to be in the Air Force Maxwell training area for what the commanders take the best of the best. They put them in Maxwell, and they give them a bunch of just ordinary people to take their message back to the commanders in their place. And I thought, what a wonderful thing. You go in there and it's a big deal. And I'm probably overwinded, but it's not time to get in an uproar. I was in all of the demonstrations in Washington after I was out of the Air Force, and this was at the end of the Vietnam era. And boy,
Bob, you got 30 seconds.
Right. Be careful about each word that you're going to be saying. Thank you.
Okay.
Mayor, Commissioners, thank you for having me. My name is Doug Wade. I don't write very legibly, apparently.
All right.
But I'm here this evening to respectfully ask for consideration for road repair on North Van Buren between Purdue and Phillips Road. The washboard situation there is considerable. As far as it being dangerous, it's also destructive. You have two options the way I see it and the way I see people drive down the road. You can drive less than 5 miles an hour with and you certainly have to have a lid on any liquid that was in your vehicle. Or you can drive at a high rate of speed and try to get on top of it. What I've noticed in the last little while is that those cars that run at that high rate of speed have ended up in the ditch twice, and I've had the tow trucks out twice as well. I think it's a safety concern, and I think it's a concern for just north of just north of Purdue. The other things that I might add is that there are school buses that travel that road considerably as well. I know that the city and county has been trying to do something when blading it. They bladed it, I think, but I tell you, Commissioner Orr, last Monday.
Yeah, last week.
Last Monday, yeah, if you come out tonight, you can't get to my house. But anyway, long story short, I'd ask for your consideration for road repair, and I think some of my neighbors are here as well.
Have you signed up to speak?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Hi, thank you for listening to us. I also live on North Van Buren. As he said, it's destructive. We had 4 tires that we had to replace on 4 different vehicles in 6 weeks. There's debris on the road, stuff falls off of the vehicles that come down the road. We've picked up a 6-foot piece of angle iron and put it in the bed of our trucks so that none of the other cars would run over it. About 2 weeks ago, we picked up a set of metal stairs that would belong to a mobile home that were just laying in the road. When they do come and grade, it's a little better for a day or so, but there are chunks of asphalt like this that one of the chunks of asphalt ruined one of our tires, went through the tire, and then broke the paint off of the outside of the wheel well because it shot it out. So I too would like to see some consideration on some type of repairs for it, because it is a hazard and it is a costly hazard. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor, can I just inject? A lot of people probably thinking that you're talking about 81 Highway, but Van Buren, just north of Scooters, goes past the old A&Z carpeting, and it goes straight up there, and it's a dirt road. And that goes into that neighborhood up in there, and it's.
And I went and drove it. I came out and drove it on Monday.
Right there at Oxford, that's Van Buren,
Straight up through.
Yeah, I'm glad we defined where that is, but we can't really talk too much about that. It's not
I'm
on
just
the-
gonna say, I drove it on Monday. That aggregate section on the south half of it is pretty bad. There are some big chunks there and probably do pop some tires.
Yeah, we'll be taking a look at that tomorrow. It's a difficult situation, so I'm not here to make excuses. I hear what you're saying. We'll see what we can do to make it better beyond just trying to grade it. I live not far from you on Phillips. Mine is not as bad, but it gets washboarded too. But of course, I don't ever come to the city because my neighbors will take care of that if it needs to be done. So I'm sensitive to what you're saying, and we'll try to make it better. Thank you for your patience.
Okay. Chad Meekum? Looking at the address, I think it's probably the same topic.
I just want to add a few things to it.
Sure.
It'll be short. I talked to the grader that comes out there and grades it. I know he's doing a great job. He tries to. The issues he's having with it is he can't dig his blade into the ground to knock the washboard down because it's not the right blade. And he said that he wasn't able to be supplied with the right blade. So what happens is the dirt just gets pushed on top and it comes through again. I have a business out there. I get complaints from my customers that, I've got some that I've got to go to them to pick up merchandise and bring it back and forth, vehicle repairs. But if we can do something, I
If the
appreciate it.
blades are just the issue, I'm confident we'll figure out what we need to get, because
Anything would be
I think
better.
it's more challenges than that, but we're definitely, I'm hearing a call to action.
And I know you guys are doing a great job at everything. I see all the improvements around town. It's wonderful. I hated to come tonight and complain about the roads. So, but anything would be better than what we have.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you. Nancy Prisnall?
Mayor Pankinen and Commissioners, thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to speak. My name is Nancy Presnell, and I want to start by telling you an incident that happened to a friend of mine and I after the recent candidate forum at the Stride Center. We were hoping to find out some information about Mr. Judd Blevins and his possible ties to white supremacy, and that did not come up in the forum. So after the forum, we approached him about that. It was very congenial at first. we just explained that we had some concerns about possible ties, and he said, well, yeah, there were reports, but they were all, what did he say? What was the word he used? Distorted, yes, thank you. It was all distorted, basically fake news. And so at that point, my friend pulled out this poster, which shows him at Charlottesville carrying a tiki torch. You remember Charlottesville. And she said, so this isn't you. Well, his demeanor immediately changed. His face got red. He said, so that's what this is about. And he started to walk off. Anyway, my friend kept pace with him, holding up a poster saying, is this you? And I followed, and I was saying, answer the question. Well, he didn't. He just stalked off. His campaign manager intervened, and the first thing she asked me was, are you voting for Derwin Norwood? I told her that was none of her business. Anyway, so then she proceeded to scurry him right out of the building. But he never answered the question, and she didn't either. So if he's not a Nazi, then why not just say so? He had a perfect opportunity to deny his involvement with those hate groups, or at least distance himself a little bit, and he refused. So instead, he ran away from two little old ladies with a poster. Come on. Anyway, this is not the kind of person or behavior that we need in a person that is representing Enid. We need Jerry Allen to stay on the commission. The voters in Ward 1 did make a bad mistake. We cannot see that mistake repeated and compounded on April 4th by electing someone else that is recruited and supported by the same pro-Nazi people who gave us Judd Blevins. So we need to make sure that Derwin Norwood stays on the city council. There's Nazi supporters in our town. Some of this is being defended by a local pastor. Is that my time? Or 30 seconds? I will resist, and I hope the good people of Enid will join me in resisting Judd Blevins on the council for however long he's there. Thank you.
Lenita Norwood.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. Just want to have just brief words on some concerns that I have and many in the community. First of all, I would just like to say I am thankful for each and every one of you that work hard in our community. And I'm thankful for the great citizens that we have in Enid, Oklahoma. I am proud to be a citizen of Enid, Oklahoma. I am a mother, grandmother, great-grandmother, and have just like to express a few concerns regarding circumstances that have appeared to be questionable over past years in Enid, dealing with white supremacy, and some of these things, it raises these concerns, and I just wanted to share a couple events that have happened that made me think of it even more seriously. I had a classmate, Mitch Sanford, former classmate. In 1987, I was looking through the yearbook today. He was a 10th grade student, basketball player. In 1979, Mitch Sanford's name was listed in the index of the yearbook, but there were no pages listed showing his pictures. In 1980, a page was dedicated to Mitch, who died before our graduation. This has been considered a very mysterious death. He was hung on a tree. I'm old, I'm 60 years old, but that was very disheartening for a 15, 16-year-old student to have to see one of our classmates killed or died. He died. I won't necessarily say because it was an open-ended discussion, or I don't know how far it went. But just seeing that myself, I have been followed. My home has been under surveillance by white gentlemen. We had a white gentleman come to our church during Bible study and just sat in on the Bible study. And it brought memories or things that I have saw on TV regarding the Emmanuel AME, which happened June 17, 2015, where 9 people were killed in Bible study. And so that this gentleman, I shouldn't even say a gentleman, this man that came and sat in on our Bible study, he didn't park in our church parking lot. He parked down the street. That is quite concerning. I just don't feel like that we should have to, any citizen should have to live in fear for our lives or our children's lives. I did contact the police department because I feel like we should share our concerns where our lives appear to be threatened. My son and I were sitting in the backyard, and my son said, "Mom, look over there." 2 street over on the corner, there was a man sitting there on a motorcycle, just staring.
Your time's up.
Okay, you didn't give my 30.
Oh, yeah.
Can I finish my sentence?
Finish your sentence.
Okay. He was sitting there, and my son said, "Mom, look." And I said, well, I looked, turned around and looked, and there this man was just staring at my house. He didn't move. We didn't move. But that's quite concerning that I feel like we need to address this and become a great community. Thank you.
Kim Collins?
Thank you for the opportunity to speak, and I also want to echo the comments. Thank you, each of you, for your service to our community. I am not from Enid. I grew up in Tulsa, and I still have a love in my heart for Tulsa, but this is my 11th year living here in Enid, and I've grown to love this community, recognizing that we have great diversity, a lot of really wonderful people that live here, a lot of hardworking, good-hearted people in this community. So when I recently learned that a man had been elected who appears to possibly have ties to white nationalism and racist viewpoints, I was very, very disturbed by that. And I came here tonight not with an eloquent speech prepared for you, just to let you know, as a citizen of Enid who has grown to love this community, I don't think that's something we want to be known for here. I don't think we want to have stories written about us in national publications. I don't think that we want that to be tainted that way the next time the United States government is looking to close bases. I don't think when we are trying to recruit businesses to our community, we want to have that taint upon our community. So I come here to just express my concern. This is a loving community with loving people, but having someone with that sort of background, unless that person can admit that what they did was wrong and they denounce it completely and totally, it's just not acceptable. I know we all have different viewpoints on many things, whether it's religion or politics, but right is right and wrong is wrong. And racism, white nationalism is wrong. And that's my point tonight. Thank you very much.
Barbara Sweat?
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I will introduce myself to you because I am not generally active in these meetings. I like to let community governors do what they do, okay? However, things change. I am a military veteran. I spent 6 years in the U.S. Army. I am now a social worker working as a counselor in private practice. One of the things that we are trained to do as social workers is to address social justice issues at the family level, the individual level, and the community level. About Sunday, I sent you all an invitation to an event. It says by invitation only, and it is for a workshop that we call a Safe Zones Workshop. I will read that invitation to you now in case you missed it in your inbox, and I would like to share just a little more information. My name is Barbara Sweat. I've been an Enid resident since 2014. When I first came to Enid, I felt that it was, in general, a friendly and tolerant community. I felt like it was a live and let live sort of place. Unfortunately, times change, and I am now seeing more and more division. Last year, I developed and began to offer workshops to help address some of these divisions. Now I feel it is time to offer this workshop to you directly in a setting that will give you an opportunity to meet with other city officials and a small group of citizens who can speak clearly about some of the issues that now divide us. This workshop, when it was developed, focused primarily on LGBTQ issues. In the time between now and the date that I have offered for that meeting, I plan to add more social justice issues, include larger groups of people in that. The whole picture of social justice is what is important to me. Yes, justice for LGBTQ people is important, and yes, LGBTQ people are under attack in the state of Oklahoma and in this town. However, it is also important to look at the experiences of all minorities and to understand how things like white nationalism affect all people, including a community as a whole. I mean, I am not alone in this, clearly, in my concerns. So there is a date and time in my email. My phone number is in the email. I would prefer that you text me first so that
30
I
seconds.
can know who you are, okay, if you would like to discuss this further. If you need another date, I am happy to set another date so that we could all get together for this. We are not looking at having more than 5 or 6 individuals together with you in that room. Okay? It's a private invitation. Thank you very much for your time.
I would just mention that we can't have more than 3 of us attend any gathering like that publicly, so you have to understand if there's not a full house. Okay. Lucille Pitt.
Good evening, City Council. My name is Lucille Pitt. I echoed Lanita's comments about what she has experienced because I received a call on, I think it was Tuesday, from a young lady who was approached by Mr. Blevins, and she was questioned as to why she attended a certain meeting, where did she live, why she was interested in certain things going on in the community. She talked about being under surveillance. A gentleman went to her home, from what she said, stood on a rock, a stone that she has in her yard, and looked through her window with the telescope. She and her husband and daughter were upstairs, and they looked back at him, and he scattered. My husband and I were driving on Broadway, and for the first time, I noticed in Enid a house with the "Don't Tread on Me" snake, and she lives right in that neighborhood. When I saw that, I said, I've never seen that before in Enid, but I know there are people here with different political views and what have you. I don't care what your political view is. Enid should be a city of inclusiveness for everybody, regardless of your political or religious view. Because the Constitution, as long as we are Americans, it applies to all of us. I wanted to speak to that, but I also want to speak to the situation with the library board. I'm not a librarian, but I was a librarian in the past, and I was in charge of a collection. It was at a university, so we didn't have the kinds of issues some of us are concerned about here. But when you begin to censor a library, that is the wrong approach to take. If someone is not pleased with some of the books that are in the library, you don't have to check them out. I can understand where we may be concerned that children might get certain literature, but parents should monitor their children so that leave the library alone. We have a problem now with librarians quitting. We have a problem with teachers quitting because there's too many attempts to control people and not respect the rights of everybody. I want to say as to withholding certain books from the library and not allowing certain books in the library, I've noticed across this country, especially in Republican states, that there are attempts to keep certain books out of the library because they don't want to know true American history. If we don't want to know American history, we should not be here pledging allegiance to the flag, because the Constitution is for all of us. If we don't want American history, don't have the Constitution, because in the Constitution, black men were not even considered but 3/4 of a man. So if we can't teach history, we can't have the Constitution, we cannot have America. Those are my comments.
Alberta Butler? No? Okay. Decline. All righty. Item 6 is consent agenda. And again, item 6.6 has been pulled from the agenda.
Move to approve everything except for 6.6, which has been removed.
Okay.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, cast your ballots. Motion carries 7-0. Thank you. Item 7, recess to convene as the Enid Municipal Authority. Item 8, all trustees of the Enid Municipal Authority regular meeting are in attendance. Item 9, the Enid Municipal Authority regular meeting is now in session. Item 9.1, approval of claims in the amount of $381,646.29.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Cast your ballots. Motion carries 7-0. Thank you. Item 10, adjourn to convene as the Enid Economic Development Authority. Item 11, all trustees of the Enid Economic Development Authority regular meeting are in attendance. Item 12, Enid Economic Development Authority regular meeting is now in session. Item 12.1, approval of claims in the amount of $73,771.92.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve in second. Any discussion? Cast your ballots. Motion carries 7-0. Thank you. Item 13, adjourn to convene as the Enid Public Transportation Authority. Item 14, all trustees of the Enid Public Transportation Authority regular meeting are in attendance. Item 15, the Enid Public Transportation Authority regular meeting is now in session. Item 15.1, approve the purchase of 2 Chrysler Voyager minivans from Creative Bus Sales Incorporated, Irving, Texas, in the amount of $175,305.90, utilizing Oklahoma State Purchasing Contract SW0797C.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? Cast your ballots. Okay, motion carries 7-0. Thank you. Item 15.2, approval of claims in the amount of $1,611.22.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Cast your ballots. Motion carries 7-0. Thank you. Item 16, adjourn to reconvene as the Enid City Commission. Item 17, we stand adjourned.